From the foot of the Wasatch Mountains, we welcome you to this presentation of the UHSAA Baseball Tournament on KSL Sports Rewind. Today, we get to determine the last two teams that are standing in the semifinals and the last two teams that will stand at the championship game. And it begins with an elimination game between Fremont and Mountain Ridge. On this beautiful Wednesday morning, Alexander Timlow joined here by Ty Wilkinson in the Benny and Cy Kimball broadcast booth here at BYU. All right, Ty, turn to you. First thing I say is, this is it. This is win or go home for 4 teams today. 2 teams by the end of today may be standing, or we may have to play another game tomorrow.
That very well is the case, Alex. And to tell you the truth, you kind of have to think to yourself, we're going to be having to see desperation, if not like the most aggressive form of baseball we've seen, at least in these past 3 days, because, you know, winner go home scenario for either of these two teams. And then also same goes for Riverton and American Fork that we'll see later this afternoon in order to play a doubleheader today, Alex. And that's going to be a very interesting and key factor. And as we talked about this during pregame, is the change in the lineups courtesy of Fremont.
Yes, courtesy of Mountain Ridge and Fremont. Some interesting changes to the lineup. Hayden Hudman, the starter on one side for Fremont. On the other side for Mountain Ridge, they have made some serious changes to the lineup. Cooper Goff, the DH from the last 2 games, dropped to the bench. Juan Gonzalez, the second baseman, dropped to the bench. And Luke Nelson, the first baseman, will bat 5th in the order today. The DH, Caden Goodsell, will instead bat 9th in the lineup today. Leo Pachoco, the shortstop, moves up to 7th. Some big changes in the lineup by manager Brock Whitney. And we were talking about potentially taking the depth into account, while at the same time, Anderson Decker, the number 1 for Brock Whitney, is starting today on the mound.
It's going to be very interesting in how he applies his pitches to a very difficult team and strategy. And Alex, like as I mentioned before, the desperation is probably going to come into effect here sooner or later, because, you know, you kind of have to throw pretty much everything you have in order to stay alive in this tournament.
Well, we're about to find out our first 2 potential semifinalists of the day in one half of the bracket between Fremont and Mountain Ridge. It's the first of day 3 here on the Rewind Sports Network. We're ready to go. When we come back, we'll have the starting lineups, the national anthem, and then first pitch. You're watching the Rewind Sports Network and our coverage of the 6A baseball tournament. Welcome back, everyone, to the Larry H. Miller Field on the campus of BYU. Very quickly, I'd like to go over the starting lineups presented by Heidemann & Associates. Time to see who the coaches have put together as their winning teams on the diamond today, just like Heidemann & Associates puts together a winning team for you, the client. The Fremont Silverwolves will go with this lineup. Karsten Jamison, shortstop, leads off. Rick Grange, the catcher, bats second. Anthony Marcial bats third. He's in left field. Cleanup Garrett Jones is at first base. Max Johnson is third, is fifth in the lineup at third base. Tyson Grieve will play second base, bat 6. The designated hitter, Grady Garrett, bats 7th. Jace Hadley, the center fielder, will bat 7th. Will bat 8th rather in the order, and Brady Penland, the right fielder, will bat 9th.
And pitching number 12.
And pitching will be Hayden Hudman. We'll get to more of that in a second for Eric Clark. On Mountain Ridge for their side, Stockton Folks will lead off. Jackson Reiser second. Remington Edwards third. Austin Ellis clean up. Luke Nelson, as we said, will bat 5th today instead of 7th. Ethan Yakino remains the same at 6th. Leo Pachoco moves up 2 spots in the order from 9th to 7th. Tyler James replaces Juan Gonzalez in the lineup at second base at bat 8th. And Caden Goodsell moves down to 9th position in the DH order. He replaces Cooper Goff, who is on the bench. And the starter is the number 1, Anderson Decker.
James, the designated hitter, number 19, Caden Goodsell.
So we are set to go for the national anthem here at Larry H. Miller Field. Let's toss it over to public address announcer Paul Binns.
Mr. Jake Gordon. On the first base line, Mr. Jason Estridge. And on the third base line, Mr. Paul Hustleby. As the teams take the line, please rise as we honor America with the playing of the national anthem.
So here we go then. All set and ready to go here from Larry H. Miller Field. So Alexander Timlip, Ty Wilkinson joining you back here in the broadcast booth from the Cy and Betty Kimball press box here at Larry H. Miller Field. So Ty, we just talked about and touched about the changes in the starting lineups from Mountain Ridge. Very interesting that Brock Whitney is going with several big changes in the lineup, and yet he's starting his number one pitcher, Anderson Decker, on the mound.
Well, it has to do with, Alex, that it's, again, desperation time. This is the tournament that you want to try to advance, and you want to get, to play that doubleheader today. They would end up inevitably playing Corner Canyon if that be the case. But once again, you get to this point, I think, as a coach, where you say, all right, now it's go time. We know what's worked in the past. We know what doesn't work for us, and we're going to try to adapt to it. And as we've seen, Mountain Ridge, a very powerful team during the year. I feel like it's a proper move to make as a head coach for Mountain Ridge.
Ty, how much pressure do you think right now is on Anderson Decker, the starter right now for Mountain Ridge? Because I'm sure that, after a 10 strikeout performance, I'm sure Brock Whitney would have thought about starting him in the very first game of the tournament they played against Fremont. It's very interesting that they save him for this situation, though, on the mound to be the number one in a virtual elimination game.
Well, the pressure is definitely on Alex to say for him because, once again, the elimination factor playing into your mind, that can kind of dawn on you as a pitcher, especially at this point in the tournament where it's either win or go home. The graphic says it all, Alex. You either win and advance, or you go home and your season's over. And once again, that's going to be a very pivotal factor into how not only his pitching goes, but once again, especially against this really talented and deep Fremont lineup, too.
So here we go, then. Elimination game. The winner moves on to face Corner Canyon in the semifinals. The loser, their season is over. On what's going to be a very busy day around the campus of BYU. In case people didn't see it in the shot of our national anthem, there are a bunch of people crawling around the Marriott Center for the American Fork High School graduation. There are 3 going on today. And because American Fork is playing in the second elimination game coming up in a little bit, you'd have to assume that they'll be here later as Anderson Decker's first pitch is down low for ball 1. And here we go from Larry H. Miller Field.
Well, it's day 3, isn't it, Alex? You can really feel it.
1-0 pitch on the way is fouled off to the left, and that's going into University Parkway, and some extra danger for the pedestrians crossing by. The umpires today behind the home plate calling balls and strikes is Jake Gordon. Over on first base is Jason Estridge. He's the crew chief, and the third base umpire covering left field is Paul Hustleby, as this one ricochets on a ground ball off of the pitcher Decker, and that's going to allow Jamison to reach safely. And so on 2 pitches, Fremont already has their first base runner of the ball game time.
Yeah, and that's true. Once again, the pressure that we said is definitely going to be on here for Anderson Decker because, once again, this Fremont team and its depth and lineup, they can really dawn on you. We saw them try to excavate something in the Corner Canyon pitching the other night, but Corner Canyon's offense kind of just overcame them. And once again, I feel like Mountain Ridge should try to be at least a little bit more comfortable playing Fremont, considering that they played them already this regular season, Alex.
1-0 the count now to Brig Grange, the catcher. Decker has a look back at first, and the next pitch is in at the hands on the inside corner for a strike.
So we mentioned the tournament in people who pretty much haven't played a matchup against each other just because 6A is so large. These 2 teams, they actually played earlier this regular season. Last time they played was March 21st, which resulted in a Fremont 6-5 win.
This one is a soft liner over to the third baseman, Folks. He makes the one-handed grab. The throw back in will hold the runner at first, and so on that line out, there's 1 out here in the inning, and that will bring up the left fielder, Tony Marzial, who was part of that 2-headed pitching monster that beat Mountain Ridge on Monday. Of course, he went the full 4 innings, and then Kobe Nance came in for the final, or 5 innings rather, and then Kobe Nance came in for the 6-out save, which he promptly got. Here, though, Marzial swings and misses at the first pitch he sees. Runner at first. One out here in the top half of the first inning. Just underway here in this first game of day 3. Marzial cuts on that one and misses. 2 strikes. Temperature 61 degrees at first pitch. East-southeast wind at 5 miles per hour, but the flag in center field is fairly still. We expect it to be gradually clearing and getting up into the mid-70s today as Marzial strikes out looking, in the first K of the day belongs to Anderson Decker on 3 pitches. Good morning, good afternoon, and goodbye to Anthony Marzial. That one, I'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Garrett Jones.
That's a huge strikeout, too, if you're Anderson Decker. You get the 3-hole batter looking in Anthony Marzial.
And Marzial is one of the best hitters for the Fremont Silverwolves as that check throw goes over to first and back in quickly is Jamison. First pitch on the way, and that's down low, ball 1. Max Johnson waits on deck, the third baseman, 5th man in the order. Decker gets the sign and the pitch. That's a changeup that's just a little bit high there. 2 balls and no strikes.
Wanted to get him to chase. You know, Garrett Jones, the veteran, he wasn't really having it, especially on the outside.
2 balls and no strikes to count to Garrett Jones, the first baseman. Decker kicks and fires, another changeup, and this time it catches the corner for a strike. Just after 11 o'clock a.m. local time here in Provo, another 12 hours of baseball likely ahead of us. 2-1 pitch on the way. This one is lifted in the air to right field, foul, and tailing into the pine trees over there. So 2 balls and 2 strikes now the count on the first baseman, Garrett Jones. 2-2 pitch is up high and the count goes full. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
And this is the inning, at least if you're Anderson Decker, that you want to try to get a win out of as he faces a full count with 2 outs.
The full count payoff on the way from Decker. Has a look back at first, kicks and fires, runner goes, and this is lined into right center field toward the gap. Coming over is Jackson Reiser. He makes the catch, and that ends the inning. The Fremont Silverwolves score no runs on 1 base hit, no errors. They strand a runner at first, and now Mountain Ridge gets their turn in the bottom of the first inning. No score in Game 1 of Day 3.
If you want to avoid your AC breaking down this summer, the best thing you can do is stay on top of your AC's annual maintenance. But if you do find yourself with an air conditioner blowing hot air, Any Hour Services technicians service all brands, and they can usually get to you pretty quick. Call Any Hour Services or schedule online at anyhour.com. Whether you need maintenance, repair, or replacement, the technicians at Any Hour Services can help you keep your home comfortable all summer long. Call Any Hour Services or schedule online at anyhour.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
No score as we head to the bottom half of inning number 1 here at Larry H. Miller Field. Alexander Timmel alongside my broadcast partner, Ty Wilkinson from the Cy and Betty Kimball broadcast booth here at Miller Field. So, Ty, we now get a look at Hayden Hudman for the first time. So lefty versus lefty today. And again, very interesting. Fremont going with their number 1 as well, seemingly in this situation, that Mountain Ridge goes with their number 1 on that same day.
It's a very interesting tactic because if either or wins, I feel like if you're the head coach, you would want to save your number 1, at least your number 1 lefties, because lefty matchup versus the mountainous amount of righties that Mountain Ridge has, considering the first 3 guys in the lineup. But I don't know. I think it's a very, as I mentioned, interesting tactic because you don't exactly want to blow away your opportunity at the number 1, but this is also a desperation opportunity for you to get as well. So if you're able to get this win and then you face Corner Canyon at that point, you kind of just wonder who the starter is going to be from then.
Yeah, you certainly do. It's going to be very, very interesting indeed. As Stockton Folks will stride into the leadoff box to get us underway here in the bottom half of inning number 1. Thank Vince Francis for getting our scoreboard set up here in the bottom half of inning number 1. First pitch is on the way, and that one is outside for ball 1. It'll be Stockton Folks, Jackson Reiser, and Remington Edwards. Same 3 as that's been leading off the last couple of days. As that pitch is down low, 2 balls and no strikes. Two-0 pitch on the way from Hudman. That one is right down the heart of the plate for a strike. Two-one pitch. This one is foul. That goes onto the tarp on the roof. So that means anytime a ball hits the roof this week at UCCU Ballpark or Miller Field, it's our cue for the Random Roof Ringer presented by Any Hour Services, proud sponsor of Rewind Sports Network's coverage of UHSAA playoff action. As the 2-2 pitch from Hudman is left up high, 3 balls and 2 strikes, and the count goes full on the leadoff man, Stockton Folks. Hudman's ready. 3-2 pitch on the way. Ball 4. And Folks becomes the first base runner of the morning here for Mountain Ridge as Jackson Reiser comes to the plate. Ty, what do you got?
All right, so, as we're playing on turf today, Alex, obviously.
We've been playing on turf all week.
Exactly. But for Major League ballparks, take a guess of the state that grows the most grass that's shipped into Major League ballparks.
Now, we're talking natural grass.
We're talking natural grass.
We're talking natural grass. We're not talking turf. As
Correct.
This pitch is up high here from Hayden Hubman. 1 ball, no strikes. Goodness. Now I know that some of the turf is manufactured in the Midwest states like Iowa and Ohio, and then there's some that's manufactured in Michigan, and some of the turf there's also some grass that's manufactured in California. I'm gonna say that the most natural grass fields probably come out of someplace like Arizona, I would say.
You're close. It's actually Colorado, believe it or not. So
I figured it was one of those mountainous desert states.
Right again. Yep.
Yeah, was probably going to be that was going to be home to the most shipped out natural grass. That is interesting, isn't it? How most of the grass that comes in for Major League Baseball fields actually does come from states that aren't exactly the type for lush.
Yeah, correct.
For lush green pastures.
Well, they're all grown out in the east and the non-mountainous regions, and
exactly right. As we're gonna have a mound visit here between the pitcher and the catcher, Brig Grange, and the starter, Hayden Hudman. And meanwhile,
Alex, in the situation where the lefty pitcher has the advantage, these hitters so far for Mountain Ridge that are the righties are just kind of letting him work the pitch count. They're being really content. I think they're feeling a little bit more comfortable, and they're just, again, waiting for their pitch.
Here comes the 2-0 from Hayden Hudman. That changeup is up high, and the count goes to 3 balls and no strikes. Well, we talked about how that could be a factor where some of these teams have already met each other, like Corner Canyon, Fremont, Mountain Ridge, et al. 3-0 on the way. That one does not catch the corner, ball 4, and it's a 4-pitch walk issued to the first 2 men that Hayden Hudman faces. And here comes Remington Edwards, the right fielder, as now Stockton Folks moves up into scoring position behind the pitcher Hayden Hudman.
Okay, so now it's in danger zone. No outs, a couple of walks already dealt. Now you're facing against the powerful bat of Remington Edwards. He's had a very momentous postseason thus far in the tournament.
First pitch coming. Hayden Hudman has a look back at second. And the pitch is a bunt, trying to be dropped down, and it ended up being tipped foul into the glove of the catcher.
You see Stockton Folks out there at second. He's trying to, get in the head right over there of Hayden Hudman. He's like, I know you're looking at me, and I know you want me to pick me up, so why don't I just do a little dance while I'm at it to give you a little bit of distraction.
Runner on first and second. Nobody out. Here's the pitch. That one is down in the carpet and picked up off the rug, ball one. Just to give you an idea, folks, of just how out of context growing grass for natural grass fields in Colorado is. Right now, current temperature is 62 degrees up in Denver. The next chance of rain they're supposed to even have is Friday, and it's only a 10% chance. And then Saturday is a 30% chance of rain, and then Saturday night is supposed to be mostly clear. You wonder how much water they have to conserve on a yearly basis if they're growing that much natural grass.
Well, it's definitely probably not natural rain, I'll say that much.
No, it probably is a lot of stuff coming from the irrigation systems in that part of the United States, as this pitch is outside and high. 3 balls and a strike, so now Hayden Hudman in danger of loading the bags here.
Well, it gives Remington Edwards now a hitter's count. He's far and well ahead. And Hayden Hudman, he's been missing his pitches so far.
Now he steps off the mound, so I think Folks is definitely in his head over there at second. We're just underway here, bottom of the first inning, nobody out. And no score between Fremont and Mountain Ridge in this elimination game. Hudman keeps glancing at second, now kicks and fires. And that one misses high and inside for ball 4. So back-to-back walks, and the bases are loaded.
Back-to-back-to-back walks, Alex. 3 walks in a row.
Actually, you're correct. It's back-to-back-to-back walks, so... And already Garrett Clark coming out to the mound, and we have a left-hander warming up in the bullpen for Fremont. As Josh Dodge takes the time to get over there to the man that's in the bullpen right now for the Fremont Silverwolves. And Ty, we talked about this earlier coming before on the air, that it seems like Fremont is playing their pitching cards very close to the vest here.
It's very true. I mean, you kind of wonder, I guess, what's going through the heads right now of Hayden Hudman. He hasn't thrown at least a pitch reasonable for Mountain Ridge to at least put in play, let alone off the bat. I mean, of course, they've gotten a couple of fouls, but I mentioned Mountain Ridge is just wanting these to wait for their pitch. And I think that's pretty much been the story of this tournament, Alex, is these batters, they know how to work on pitchers. They're veterans. These guys have played each other before. And, I mean, 4 straight right-handers that he's facing, and you would think that the advantage would be, theoretically, to Hayden Hudman.
So bases are loaded, nobody out. First pitch on the way to Austin Ellis batting cleanup, and that misses high and outside, ball 1.
And you can see, based off the position of the infielders, they're not going to try to get the out at home, Alex. They're just trying to get anything they can at this point.
Third and first base playing about just medium deep, as this is grounded to second. Throw to first, will get the double play. But in the back door comes Stockton Folks. And with 2 outs here in the inning, the Mountain Ridge Sentinels scratch across a run. It's 1-0 on the RBI ground out by Austin Ellis. It's a 4-6-3 double play. As Luke Nelson, now the 5th man in the order. He was 7th the last 2 days. And he takes a changeup right at the heart of the plate for a strike. Again, big changes to the lineup. Luke Nelson moves up from 7th to 5th in the order. Leo Pachoco goes up from 9th to 7th. And then the DH today, Caden Goodsell, moves down to 9th from 6th. 0-1 pitch. This one is lined foul into the right field stands and over everybody out of the concourse. So 2 strikes here. 1 run, no hits, no errors. for the Mountain Ridge Sentinels in this inning. The only run came on the RBI ground out by Austin Ellis, grounding in a 4-6-3 double play, as this one is up high and outside, 2-2. Or 1 ball, 2 strikes, excuse me.
I think right now Hayden Hudman is really just going to try to work on Luke Nelson and not really worry about the runner at third.
1-2 pitch, high pop-up, tailing into foul ground. First baseman Jones is over, makes the catch, and that retires the side. But the Mountain Ridge Sentinels do scratch across a run on the RBI GIDP by Austin Ellis. And we head now to the top half of the second inning. Mountain Ridge leads Fremont 1-0 on day 3, game number 1. Back here on the Rewind Sports Network, we like to remind you that if necessary, the winner of this game will face the Corner Canyon Chargers in a winner-take-all semifinal matchup. Stay tuned later today to find out if that game will be necessary. If it is, that game will be at 4 o'clock p.m. from Larry H. Miller Field, with the winner advancing to the 6A finals. On your home for the Spring Sports Championships, you had here on KSL Sports Rewind as the first pitch of inning number 2 by Anderson Decker is a cut on and a miss by Max Johnson, the third baseman. 5, 6, 7 in the order. A 1 pitch on the way from Decker. That one misses high and away for ball 1.
Well, Max Johnson yesterday, I mean, he was pretty much the heart of the lineup. He had a double in his first appearance, at least in the first inning against Corner Canyon. He got in 2 RBIs in said double.
Check down to first rather, and the umpire said he did not go. The first base umpire down there, Jason Estridge, the crew chief. That one is tipped foul behind the plate. Again, our umpiring crew behind the plate today calling balls and strikes. Jake Gordon over at first is Jason Estridge, the crew chief, wearing the black wristband, and Paul Hustleby is over at third. 2-2 pitch. Cut him. First strikeout of the inning, second one of the day for Anderson Decker, and there's one gone. Of course, we should point out, Ty, Anderson Decker had 10 strikeouts in that win over Lone Peak in the Game 2 win in that Super Regional. I mean, he is a number 1 pitcher and a half that you want to have in this kind of a situation. This is grounded on 2 hops to short. Pachoco picks it up, throw over to first, and it's in time, and quickly there are 2 gone here in the top half of the second inning.
Anderson Decker not dealing with nearly as much pressure as Hayden Hudman did on the mound, at least in the first coming 2 innings. We'll see how the second goes for Anderson Decker.
Anderson Decker so far 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. And meanwhile, his counterpart, Hayden Hudman, has 3 walks as Grady Garrett cuts on that changeup and misses for strike 1. Jace Hadley will follow him in the 8th spot as this one is chopped weakly over to the first base side. And Decker thought better of it to not make the long throw over to first. That would have been a detriment to him, but it's the second base hit of the day for the Mountain Ridge Sentinels. And they have a 2-out base runner here. So both times Fremont's gotten traffic against Anderson Decker's come with 2 outs, and both of them have been singles. First pitch on the way to Jace Hadley. The center fielder is in there at the waist for a strike.
Well, Jace struggled a little bit at the plate yesterday, Alex. He had a couple ground outs, but he managed to get a walk on his resume. I think it's just the tournament nerves that kind of gets to you, especially when your team, I guess, is, you know, batting the way that they've been too.
2 outs here, top half of the second inning, 1-0 in favor of Mountain Ridge. 1-1 pitch. This one is down on the carpet. 2 balls and a strike. Reminder, coming up after this game is Riverton against American Fork. And it's not in the semifinals, it's an elimination game. Not something we thought we'd be saying at the beginning of this tournament, as once again, this is down on the carpet for ball 3.
Gonna have quite the showing for American Fork, considering graduation right across the street over there, Alex. They'll be filtering in here coming up in the afternoon.
Game's slated to start about 1:30 this afternoon, or a little bit after 2 o'clock, because this one is a changeup right there. Good pull of the string there by Anderson Decker, and now the count goes full. Full count, 2 outs, top of the second inning. Runner at first. Decker from the belt kicks and fires. Runner goes. See ya. That retires the side here at the top of the second inning. 2 strikeouts on the ledger for Anderson Decker. And it remains 1-0 as we head to the bottom of the second in game 1 of day 3. Well, you've heard of hazard to life and property. That's definitely some property out there that's going to be in serious kimchi here today at Larry H. Miller Field. Alexander Tim up alongside my broadcast partner, Ty Wilkinson. I do wonder just how you even have to keep your head on a swivel on a day like this, where you know foul balls are going to be coming from every which way.
Well, look out there at in the outfield too, Alex. There's cars every which way. There's people. I mean, pedestrians are just all over the place today.
I mean, I think we even got people up on the stairs of the Marriott Center watching this game right now, which is very cool to see. Meanwhile, one strike pitch is lifted in the air to right, and the right fielder Brady Penland comes underneath it, and it's a 2-pitch flyout to begin the bottom half of inning number 2 to the left fielder Ethan Iacono. That will bring up the shortstop Leo Bachoco, who had a couple of gems over at short yesterday defensively. Again, he moves up from 9th in the order to 7th, one of 5 changes made by Brock Whitney to the lineup today for Mountain Ridge. As Hayden Hudman kicks and fires from the stretch, and that changeup is a beauty right there at the knees for a strike. Hudman, 3 walks on that ledger in the first inning. Trying to go for a clean inning right here. Still is not allowed a hit, but it is early. 0-1 pitch. This one is lined foul off to the right. And out of play. 2 strikes now the count.
Tyson Grieve is playing really far back again in second. We've noticed that trend, Alex, for pretty much every team that's played so far in this tournament. Kind of adds that extra benefit to the outfielders and I guess releases that pressure.
0-2 pitch, swung on and missed, strike 3. First K of the day for Hayden Hudman, and there's 2 gone.
Now plate number 21, Tyler James.
So Tyler James now steps into the batter's box, number 21. He replaces Juan Gonzalez, who was in this hole yesterday. As you get a look at the infield, what Ty was referencing as Josh Dodge was panning out. Second baseman Tyson Grieve is almost halfway out on the grass, almost halfway out to the Y logo there in right field. As this is ball 1. Next pitch, that one does not catch the corner. Had to snatch it back a couple of inches to the left. 2 balls and no strikes.
I still think what that does, Alex, that it provides that extra relief and pressure for the outfielders because they have so much room to work with. I mean, it's 402 to dead center. You're getting those infielders out pretty much close to, if not all the way in, theoretically, the outfield, as well as Karsten Jamison, the shortstop, is out there as well.
2-1 pitch. That one misses just inside and high. 3 balls and a strike. Again, a lot of the traffic caused by these 2 teams are coming with 2 outs. As Hudman kicks and fires on the 3-1 pitch. This one is grounded up the middle and through that hole into center field for a base hit. And that's the first true base hit of the day for the Mountain Ridge Sentinels. It's a 2-out single by the second baseman, Tyler James. That'll bring up the DH, Caden Goodsell, to the plate, again replacing Cooper Goff, who's on the bench today. And instead of batting in the 6 hole, the DH is battling in the 9 hole, so 3 spots down. One of, again, 5 changes to the lineup for Brock Whitney's team today. Trying to go for broke in this elimination game. First pitch is lined into right field. That's a base hit. Rounding second and turning for third is Tyler James. He will slide in safe, and there are runners at the corners now with 2 out.
Now plate for Stockton Phelps.
As Stockton Folks now jumps up to the plate, and you have to say, Ty, so far the lineup change is paying off. Back-to-back singles for Mountain Ridge.
And it's ironically the bottom of the order that's doing this damage too, Alex. It was a strong start for Hayden Hudman getting that flyout and a strikeout back-to-back. But as you know, Mountain Ridge now making noise with runners on the corners.
And the top of the lineup now in the fold here as Folks takes that one high and outside. Had to snatch it back a couple of inches there to break range, ball one. So after no base hits in the first inning, 2 hits in this inning already, and now runners at the corners here for the Mountain Ridge Sentinels in the bottom of inning number 2. 1-0 pitch is a changeup right there this time on the corner for a strike.
Well, the righties in the top of the order so far have waited for their pitch. 3 straight walks that were dealt by Hayden Hudman, at least in the top of inning number 1. I wonder if that'll be the same scenario coming up here.
1-1 pitch on the way. High cheddar, couldn't get the grater on it. Strike 2. Hayden Hudman just trying to get out of this jam that he's in right now. Runners at the corners with 2 out. And 1 ball and 2 strikes, the count to the leadoff man, Stockton Folks. 1-2 pitch. Got him. Second strikeout of the inning for Hayden Hudman, and that retires the side. Mountain Ridge strands 2 at the corners. We head to top of inning number 3. It remains 1-0 Sentinels. Well, we were referencing how many people were watching this from the top of the Marriott Center stairs. There's your answer. A lot of people crawling around in American Fork Red. As we bring you back inside the Cy and Betty Kimball press box here at Larry H. Miller Field. Alexander Timmel alongside broadcast partner Ty Wilkinson. 1-0 Mountain Ridge in this elimination game to determine who goes to the semifinals. So Ty, very interesting so far how Hayden Hudman and Anderson Decker, they seem to have found their rhythm.
Yeah, it's very true. The second innings really paid off for him. I mean, yeah, Hayden Hudman, he got that quick flyout and a strikeout. Then he dealt with a little bit of danger with a couple of singles and runners on the corners, but then he got that strikeout on Stockton Folks in order to end the inning. So I guess now it's up to Anderson Decker to try to keep this drive alive with a 1-0 lead.
That one is right on the hands on the inside corner for a strike from Anderson Decker, who has 3 strikeouts and a walk. Hayden Hudman has 3 walks and 2 strikeouts here so far. That one just misses the low corner there. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I was getting a little worried for Hayden Hudman, too, in that early start to the inning with bases loaded and 0 outs, but his defense really prevailed. They got that double play, and then obviously the fly out in order to end the inning and prevent the damage. The fielder's choice double and only allowed 1 run.
1 ball, 2 strikes the count. And the pitch. Just missed the bottom corner there of the plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Austin Ellis almost had to really pick that one up off the turf. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here it comes. This one is lined to right and foul. And that one goes into the bullpen down there. And very late arriving crowd here at Larry H. Miller Field. We expect it will be the same for all the games today because, of course, the graduation's going on over at the Marriott Center up the road from us. Literally the next block from us. Here's the 2-2. Goodbye. And Decker is locked in now. That's his 4th K through 2 1/3 innings. And that'll turn the lineup cards over for the leadoff man, Karsten Jamison, the shortstop.
And this is not the guy you want to face. He is on fire today, Alex. If you want to guess, in the past 2 games, he's 4 for 5. 4 singles. At least in the past 2 postseason games that he's played so far. He already has a single tonight.
It's one of the only 2 base hits so far that ricocheted off of the pitcher Anderson Decker, but he cuts on this away pitch and misses for strike 1. A 1 pitch. This one chopped to third and foul. So 2 strikes. 1 out here in the top half of the 3rd inning. 1-0 in favor of Mountain Ridge. Only run coming on the RBI ground out by Austin Ellis, the catcher, was a RBI GIDP, a 4.63 double play. As this one is high and inside, look out on Karsten Jamison. 2-3-4 set to come up here for Mountain Ridge in the bottom of the third. As this pitch is down and in the dirt. Good block by the catcher Ellis, and the count goes 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And Karsten getting those 2 easy balls. One was up high, the other one down low. And you can tell he was kind of just waiting for his opportunity to get a really good swing here.
That one, he strikes out. 5th K already for Anderson Decker.
Now hitting number 10, Brig Grange.
As Brig Grange now comes to the plate. First pitch coming on the way from Decker. That one does not catch the outside corner. 1 ball, no strikes. Decker 2 2/3. He already has 5 strikeouts here. That one is in the dirt. Remember, he had 10 in that Game 2 win against Lone Peak in the Super Regionals. 2-0 pitch. That's a beauty right there for a strike. 2-1. 2 out. Top of the third inning. No, 1-0 our score. 2-1 pitch is chopped foul off of the inside leg of Grange, and the count goes 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Those ones hurt right toward the knee.
And especially where there's no padding there either, Tom.
Yeah.
I mean, you should know that feeling. I mean, the worst one is probably taking one off your foot, I would think.
Yep.
2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 outs here in the top half of the third inning. 2-2 pitch. This one fouled right back toward us, but off the screen. Decker will step off. Comes set. Now the 2-2 payoff on the way. This one also fouled back to the screen. So this will be the 7th pitch of the AB coming up here. Good battle here between the opposing catcher and the opposing pitcher.
Doing a good job staying alive, fouling off those past 2 pitches.
2-2 pitch. This one grounded on 2 hops to short, but Choco to first in time, and that retires the side. Fremont Silverwolves set down in order. Ekahi Elua Aloha in the top half of the third inning. We go to the bottom of the third now. It remains 1-0 Mountain Ridge. Watching this elimination game in the UHSAA 6A baseball playoffs on the Rewind Sports Network. Welcome back to Larry H. Miller Field. The tension building here. 1-run game as we head to the bottom of the third inning. Almost halfway home. We'd like to remind you the Rewind Sports Network's coverage of the UHSAA baseball tournament is presented all week long by Igloo Outfitters, the coziest wearable sleeping bag that has you covered during all seasons of the year. Use the promo code REWIND for 20% off your next order when you order from them online at igluoutfitters.com. Don't think we'll need Igloo Outfitters blankets today. It's not that cold here. Again, Provo Municipal Airport conditions read 61 degrees here first pitch. Went up 2 degrees now to 63.
Overcast skies today, though. That's the different storyline.
Yeah, overcast skies today. So we had rainy conditions on Monday. We had a beautiful day yesterday, but we have a beautiful day here, but it's just a little bit overcast because of all the high cirrus clouds, which I guess helps the outfielders and the infielders because that means they don't have to deal with the sun in their eyes half the time.
Not only the sun in their eyes, but the heat of the turf.
Yes, and the heat of the turf, too. They don't have to deal with that for right now.
Talked about that yesterday. You get to a certain part of the day where you can kind of just smell the turf based off of the heat.
Yeah. Jackson Reiser will lead off the bottom of the third inning here for the Mountain Ridge Sentinels. 2, 3, and 4. Heart of the order coming up. As this first pitch is cracked foul right back onto the screen. 0-1 pitch. That one doesn't catch the corner there, ball one. Had to snatch it up a couple of inches. Next pitch, grounded, foul up to the left-hand side. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count on Jackson Reiser, the center fielder, against Hayden Hudman, the starting pitcher, who had a bit of a rocky start but has since settled in with 2 strikeouts. After 3 walks, and this one is turned foul up the left field side, as Reiser was well out in front there. One and 2 the count here on Jackson Reiser. And that is on the heart of the plate, strike 3. As Brig Grange's throw goes into left field. Trying to go around the horn. Maybe got a little too amped up right there. But Ty, that's already 3 strikeouts after the 3 consecutive walks that Hudman issued to begin the game.
It's very true. And yeah, those 3 walks, I mean, the top of the order, they all walked, Alex. And now back-to-back innings. So the second, Stockton Fulks, he struck out swinging. And then Jackson Reiser, as you just saw right now, he just struck out looking. So let's see what Remington Edwards has dealt.
This one is driven in the air to right, tailing off to the right. Right fielder Penland moves over a few steps to his left, makes the catch, and quickly there are 2 gone here in the bottom half of the third. The only run of the game came on that RBI GIDP. That means run batted in, grounded into double play by Austin Ellis, who steps up to the plate right now. He has the only run of the run scoring, I guess you could say, ball in play of the game, because it wasn't a base hit. And Tyler James and Caden Goodsell, meanwhile, they have the only base knocks of the game for the Sentinels. Anyway, here's the 1-0 pitch. That one had to be snatched down a couple of inches, so that's high ball 2. Hudman, after giving up 3 consecutive walks to open up the game, now with 3 strikeouts in his last 6 batters. 2-0 pitch. This one is hit in the air to right center, tailing towards the gap. That is going to be caught out there on the run by Brady Penland, and that ends the inning. So as the Silverwolves were set down in order, so were the Sentinels set down in order. It's a defensive battle as we head to the top half of the 4th inning. It remains 1-0 Sentinels in this elimination game in the 6A baseball tournament. Welcome back, everyone, to the Rewind Sports Network's coverage of the UHSAA baseball tournament. Our coverage today presented by Heidemann and Associates. Just like how the coaches have to assemble a winning team on the diamond, Heidemann and Associates is committed to you, the client, by assembling a team that's always on your side. Call them today at 801-754-4240 or contact them online at utah.law to schedule your free consultation with them, courtesy of the Rewind Sports Network. Alex Aronson and Ty Wilkinson from the Kimball Press Box here at Larry H. Miller Field on the campus of Brigham Young on this busy day around BYU campus. So far, it's the pitchers and the catchers who have been busy trying to frame up all these pitches, Ty, because it's been a pitcher's duel here so far, as you would have expected, though, when the lineups came out in this game.
It very well has. I mean, Anderson Deckard, he's got 5 strikeouts. 3 of them were batters getting caught looking, Alex, and that's a very good ratio, not only just as a pitcher, but also as defenders, because, as you said, it really has been pretty much all the story is the defense. That even includes for the Silverwolves, as you've seen, Ethan Iacono, pretty busy out there. Sorry, Remington Edwards is the right fielder tonight for the Silverwolves. He's been pretty busy, but that contributes to the defensive battle, Alex. It's not just all pitching.
Yeah, Bachoco has been busy at short, and of course Brady Penland, right field for Fremont, he's been busy as well, as Marzial takes that one low and away, ball 1. Only 4 total hits in the ball game so far, as that one is cut on a miss for strike 1 from Marzial. Anderson Decker, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts here so far. 1-1 pitch. That one is strike 2 as he cuts on that one and misses. I should say he actually has 3 strikeouts, not 5. Or 4, actually, not 5. Now he does. 5 strikeouts through 3 1/3 for Anderson Decker. We have to check that, Ty.
Yep, it's 6.
It's actually 6. It actually is 6, so I was right. 6 strikeouts through 3 1/3 now for Anderson Decker. This one is grounded up the line, and a fair ball as the first baseman, Nelson, could have come up with it. Tracking it down is Edwards. Throw into second. Will not be in time. It's a stand-up double. The first XBH of the afternoon belongs to the Fremont Silverwolves, and they are threatening to tie it now with 1 out on that brilliantly placed ball down the line from the first baseman, Garrett Jones.
Well, Luke Nelson was a little bit content over there. I think he was waiting for the slow roller, but once again, we've seen it quite a few other times. None of these players are used to playing on this turf field, so that ball gets a lot more speed and not less traction as you would the grass infield.
So now that brings up Max Johnson with a runner in scoring position and 1 out. And activity now in the Mountain Ridge bullpen as this is chopped into the hole at short. And Bachoco can't come up with this one. Garrett Clark will throw on the stop sign, and the runners are now at the corners. Just like that. With only 1 out. So...
Well, speaking of, how about that bouncy infield, Alex? I think it was a little bit harder for these infielders to keep judging these routine groundouts.
And here comes the welcoming committee over to the mound as Anderson Decker calls his defense over for a meeting, led by Captain Austin Ellis, the catcher. And they break company. So, runners at the corners, 1 out. Top half of the 4th inning. Mountain Ridge and a little bit of a jam here. First pitch from Decker is in the dirt. Good block there by the catcher, Austin Ellis. It's ball 1. Lefty and a righty currently warming up in the bullpen for the Mountain Ridge Sentinels. It was a lefty and a righty. Now it's just a righty warming up in there as they get set to potentially come in. Y1-0 pitch is away. 2 balls and no strikes.
So now Anderson Decker, he really has to work the count here, Alex. Runner on first and a runner on third. Only 1 out, but the double play still is in contention. You got to rely on your infielders, but the past 2 that have been infield rollers have not, at least, been very nice to the Mountain Ridge infield.
Check throw over to first. Back in is the runner. 2-0 pitch. That one is right down the middle. To the second baseman, Tyson Greaves. So Johnson on first following the single. Garrett Jones led off the inning with Garrett Jones had a double after Anthony Marcial led off the inning with a strikeout for the heart of the order. 2-1 pitch. This one is lifted foul to right and out of play. And so the count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out. Not quite deuces wild, but close. Decker could really use a strikeout, though, to get his side some traction. The 2-2 pitch. Goodbye. 7th strikeout for Anderson Decker, and there's 2 gone here in the inning, and runners still in the corners.
Okay, but now the pressure is on, Alex, because as we know, Grady Garrett, he already has a single so far. But now you put runners in contention. So I guess the pressure now is on for Anderson Decker.
Runners at the corners, 2 out. And here's Grady Garrett, the DH. Lefty against lefty matchup. That one misses low and inside for ball 1. From the belt. Kicks and deals. That one gets the corner. Strike 1. Perfect placement on that fastball. Jace Hadley, the center fielder, stands on deck. 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. Anderson Decker 1 pitch away from getting out of it. Runners at the corners, 2 out, 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1-0 Mountain Ridge. The 1-2 payoff. He struck him out. Drop third strike, throw to first is in time. That ends the inning. Not 5, not 6, not 7, but 8 strikeouts for Anderson Decker. And the Sentinels strand the Fremont runners at the corners. It remains 1-0. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Welcome back, everyone, to the Rewind Sports Network and our coverage of the UHSAA baseball tournament. Mountain Ridge leads 1-0 here over Fremont, but it's Anderson Decker who's putting on a show right now. Through 4 innings, he struck out 8 batters. And after a slow start, allowing 3 consecutive walks, Hayden Hudman also has caught fire with 3 strikeouts in his last 3 innings.
Well, like the traffic on the road, there's been traffic on the base paths, but credit where it's due to Anderson Decker that last inning to get out of here, or to get out of the inning. 3 strikeouts in that inning too.
First pitch on the way to Luke Nelson is grounded foul up the left-hand side. 5, 6, 7 in the order to bat here against Hayden Hudman in the bottom half of the 4th inning. A double by Garrett Jones and a single by Johnson put runners on the corners, but somehow Mountain Ridge was able to get out of it as this is fair down the line. Long throw to first, and that is, we'll see what they rule it. They're going to rule him safe for now, as it looked like the throw popped out of the first baseman Garrett Jones's glove, and there's no argument from Jones over at first base to the crew chief, Jason Estridge, so they're going to keep it as it is. It's a base hit. Or it's rather, it's going to be an error scored against the Fremont Silverwolves. As Ethan Iacono now steps up to the plate. First pitch on the way to him is a changeup just a little bit off the corner, ball 1. One-oh pitch. That one is in the carpet, picked up off the rug. Good pickup there from the catcher, Brig Grange, and here he comes out to the mound again to have a chat with his pitcher. No one in the bullpen for the Fremont Silverwolves. There was activity in the bullpen in the first inning. And there is some activity now in the Mountain Ridge bullpen. A lefty now throwing in that area of the pen. There's a few others that are stretching and tossing currently. Two balls and no strikes on the left fielder, Ethan Iacono. Runner on first is Nelson on the 2-0 pitch. That one is picked up off the carpet once again, 3-0. Bottom of the 4th, 1-0 Mountain Ridge. The pitch. Actually, a check throw over back to first, and back in quickly is Nelson. One run, just 2 base hits for Mountain Ridge here so far. 3-0 pitch. Taking all the way, strike called.
It's a good comeback pitch for Hayden Hudman, but it's also good now for Ethan Iacono to kind of get a reference of what he wants to hit.
Here comes the 3-1. Runner goes off. Swung on and missed. Foul tip into the glove. Meanwhile, Nelson steals second. So full count now against the left fielder, Ethan Iacono. Runner in scoring position, nobody out. The 3-2 pitch. Ball 4. 4th walk of the day. First issued by Hudman since the first inning. And here comes the shortstop, Leo Bachoco, who again moved up from 9th to 7th in the order. Caden Goodsell, the DH today. DH position moved down from 6 to 9. Luke Nelson moved up from 7th to 5th in the order as Brock Whitney trying to get something going to save their season. They're up 1-0 right now, almost halfway through this game. Time called here by Brock Whitney, and you'll have a staff meeting with the coaching staff et al. Over at the third base line. Good time to remind you the Rewind Sports Network's coverage of the UHSAA baseball playoffs continues tomorrow with a boys soccer finals triple header. Join Alex Napolis live from America First Field for Murray versus Ridgeline. Defending champion Wasatch going for a repeat crown against Roy. And number 1 against number 2. It's Farmington taking on American Fork. All games tomorrow at America First Field starting at 10 o'clock in the morning, bright and early with Alex Napolis on the Rewind Sports Network, your home for UHSAA Spring Sports Championships. We've had some wild stuff happen in that tournament as well. A couple of extra time winners yesterday. Ridgeline sealing their spot in the final on a goal with just under 10 minutes to go. And how about Murray upsetting Layton Christian within the first 30 seconds of extra time? As meanwhile, Hayden Hudman comes set on the first pitch. Bunt shown. And Bachoco did not get the barrel on it. Strike 1. Runners on first and second, nobody out. Now, as we're just approaching 12 o'clock noon here, local time here in Provo. And as we look up towards the Marriott Center, it is an absolute nightmarish traffic jam. 0-1 pitch. And that one pops out of the glove of the catcher. And the runners will move up 90 feet. That'll go down as a passed ball.
Well, it was Brig Grange. She was anticipating the bunts, and I think that's what threw him off, Alex. When the pitch came in and hit the top of his glove, he was anticipating contact to the ball. But as a result, he went right behind him.
Here's the 1-1 coming now with runners now on second and third. That one is high and away outside. 2 balls and a strike. So, Ty, interesting here. What do you do? Because you still have a double play that could happen if you load the bases here.
That is very true, and I would say you have to work this count right now, Alex. If you're Hayden Hudman, you got to get at least ahead right now, or at least tie the count.
That one is driven into right center field. Penland comes in, makes the catch. They're going to send the runner, and the throw is cut off. Looked like it was going to be a closer play than I thought. That ball was falling fast, but Brady Penland got over there quickly. An RBI sac fly. And the Mountain Ridge Sentinels scratch across another run. They now lead 2-0 here in the bottom of the 4th. So both RBIs have come on plays on balls in play, not actual base hits. Mountain Ridge now 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position today. This one is high and away, ball 1.
Well, that just goes to show, Alex, how difficult it is, especially against, the Silverwolves, to get a run just based off of, a base on ball. That's the only difficult situation that they're dealing with this pitcher duel. And as we know, Fremont has still been unable to break that barrier so far tonight.
And you also have to figure, as Hudman steps off the mound right there, Fremont is plenty capable of exploding at some point. I mean, it'll only take it only takes a couple of base hits for them to get traffic and put some pressure on the Mountain Ridge defense. As meanwhile, here's a 1-0 pitch coming from Hudman, who has a couple of stare downs with the runner at second, and that's a beauty of an off-speeder right there at the knees for a strike.
Well, and 2 teams that we mentioned, too, that this is the third meeting just in the baseball season. Second in the tournament. I mean,
second in the last 3 days between these 2 teams.
Yeah, and it's a rematch, and you remember the first game ended 8-5. It's completely different story.
Yeah, Fremont jumped all over the Mountain Ridge Sentinels as a check throw back to second, and in quickly is Ethan Iacono, the left fielder, at second. I mean, that was a game where Fremont put up 3 spots in the first and the third innings before Mountain Ridge even had a chance to breathe in that game. And the Sentinels were just never able to recover. Here's the 1-1. Lifted in the air to right field. And Penland once again comes over, makes the catch. Runner will tag and go for third. He'll slide in safe. And the runner moves over to third. On the sac fly, there's 2 outs now. As Brady Penland has had quite himself a busy day over in right field.
That's his 4th outing, or putout, I should say, Alex, of the afternoon out there in right field. And what's interesting is most of these are opposite field hits, too. Got to be on your toes out there and right, no matter what position the batter's in.
A lot of those hits have come to right field today because we saw also that ground ball shot up the first base line that pounced by Nelson at first. That was also an oppo field hit. 1 ball, no strikes. The count now to the DH, Caden Goodsell, the 9-hitter in the order, with the runner at third being Ethan Iacono. 1-0 pitch. That one's downstairs, 2-0. 2 runs, just two actual hits, and we've had only 1 extra base hit this entire ball game through 3 2/3 complete innings. Iacono at third. Pitch down, comes inside again, and it's again 3 balls and no strikes.
These are tough outside pitches, too, that Hayden Hubman is throwing right on the inside corners.
3-0 pitch on the way. Taking all the way, strike 1.
Well, and then he gets him right down the middle with the fastball.
Runner on third, 2 out. Bottom half of the 4th inning, 1 run already home on the sac fly. 3-1 pitch. This one is jammed on the fists, up to second. And coming in to make the catch is Tyson Grieve, and that will retire the side. But a run does scratch across for the Mountain Ridge Sentinels in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Although they did not have any base hits, we now head to the top of inning number 5. It is now 2-0 Mountain Ridge. Welcome back, everyone, to Larry H. Miller Field on the campus of Brigham Young University. Alexander Timolip and Ty Wilkinson joining you from the Kimball Press Box. You just heard the pitch counts announced. Ty, 62 pitches through 4 complete innings for Anderson Decker and 8 strikeouts.
Well, that's the story of the day. He's making this game go by fast. We're just a little over an hour since first pitch just happened, Alex. 12:06, and we're already in the top of the 5th inning. Just goes to show the defensive battle.
Leading off in Silverwolves, number 1, Jace Hadley.
I'm shaking my head right now at you, and I'm glaring at you because now I know you just jinxed it. This one's downstairs for ball 1 to the leadoff man, Jace Hadley, here in the top half of inning number 5.
Oh,
as Ty mentioned, only 1 of our base hits has been an extra base hit. This one is lined to right, tailing foul towards the Silverwolf bullpen, and that will bounce into said bullpen.
Well, we did mention, too, Alex, it's only a matter of time for Fremont, a team that's known for their hitting, to, get a couple of sparks here, but as you know, 8 strikeouts that have been dealt to them by Anderson Decker so far has, been a pretty difficult task to overcome for this batting order.
2-1 pitch on the way. This one is lined to right, and also when past the bullpen, that's down the road of Helaman Hall's foul. 8 strikeouts against 1 walk for Anderson Decker this morning as we enter this afternoon now. Here at Larry H. Miller Field. 2-2 pitch, and that one goes high and outside, and the count goes full. 3-2.
Well, this is also just the second appearance that Jace Hadley has had at the plate, Alex. His first time up was in the 2nd inning, and we haven't seen him since.
This one chopped over the head of the pitcher, but Choco picks it up. Quick throw to first. Got him. Leo Bachoco doing it again over at shortstop. He had a couple of big gems yesterday, and he has had a couple of defensive gems today, and there's 1 out. As the Riverton Silverwolves are coming in now to our bottom right. As the pitch goes to 1-0 on the 9-man in the order, Brady Penland, who's been busy today in right field defensively. That one is a strike right in at the knees on the outside corner. I have to keep saying it, folks. American Fork Riverton, not the matchup I think anybody would have expected in an elimination game. in this tournament.
It's crazy to think that.
It's crazy to think both teams even have one loss.
Right. But are on the verge of elimination. One has to go home.
That's true. That one snatched a bit. And that one is ball 3, 3 balls and a strike. Three-1. That one is high, ball 4. It's just the second walk issued
Now playing for
today
42,
by Anderson
Carson
Decker, his
James.
first one since the 3rd inning. And that will bring the tying run to the plate now in the person of shortstop Karsten Jamison, who struck out back in the 3rd.
Well, as a matter of fact, Alex, that's his first walk issued pretty much all night, because he had that double and that single, both courtesy of Garrett Jones and Max Johnson. So that's his first walk that he's issued all afternoon.
That one snatched a bit off the high corner there, ball 1. Karsten Jamison, 1 for 2 today. He was one of the 8 strikeout victims for Anderson Decker. And you're right, actually, Ty, that was his first walk issue today, as this one is up high, 2 balls and no strikes. And so, after throwing only 62 pitches through the first 4 innings, maybe just a little bit of too much adrenaline flowing through the system right now of Anderson Decker here, as it's 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0. That one is on the corner for a strike. Good placement on that pitch.
And we've seen activity in the Mountain Ridge bullpen at least these past 3 innings over there, Alex. I mean, even it didn't started as close as the 2nd. I think they're just trying to be on their toes since they know they have a 2-0 lead.
That's a beauty off-speeder right there. Froze him, strike 2. A lot of action in that Mountain Ridge bullpen. A lefty and a righty warming up now. Excuse me, for Anderson Decker on the mound. 2-2 pitch. Goodbye. Second time Jamison has struck out today. The 9th K of the day for Anderson Decker.
That's his 5th swinging strikeout in a row, too.
Break Grange now with 2 outs here in the inning, representing the tying run. The go-ahead run represented by Anthony Marziali on deck. First pitch. Beauty. It is just so amazing to watch how effortlessly that changeup and that off-speed slider just flows from Anderson Decker. Fastball in on the hands, 1 ball, 1 strike. Had to make him back out of the way.
He's definitely mastered the off-speed pitch pretty much ever since the game started. But more so, I guess he's found his caught fire, at least early in the 2nd.
1-1 pitch. Chop foul to the backstop. And the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Anderson Decker 1 strike away from getting his 10th K of the day. The number 1 for Brock Whitney, showing why he was such throughout the season. Can he get his last pitch done right here? Not quite yet. Bounced in the plate. And the count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here it comes. 2-2 pitch ready. Fly ball into right. Edwards makes the catch, and that ends the inning. The Fremont Silverwolves bring the tying run to the plate, but they can't advance it any further. We head to the bottom half of inning number 5. It is 2-0 Mountain Ridge on the Rewind Sports Network up there in right center field. As we head to the bottom of inning number 5 here. Our score remains 2-0. Alexander Timov alongside Ty Wilkinson here from Larry H. Miller Field in the Cy and Betty Kimball press box. And what has been a pitcher's and defender's delight here this morning in this first game between Fremont and Mountain Ridge. But Ty, like we said, back in the 4th inning, we wouldn't expect anything less.
Exactly, true. I mean, the pitcher duel, I know the score does say 2-0, but the fact that Hayden Hudman has only allowed 2 hits against this lineup. I mean, Decker Anderson has allowed 4, and it doesn't even feel like it just because of that amount of strikeouts and the scoreboard. But it is just a battle of the lefties just coming up into this game, and it's been a fast and rapid-paced first few innings as we get into the closing portion now.
Anderson Decker has 79 strikeouts on the season coming into today. He has 9 now, which makes it 88 for the season, as this is a drop bunt in front of the plate. Jackson Reiser, and that one trundles just foul. Just for reference, by the way, Anderson Decker this season has allowed no runs 10 times. He's had double-digit strikeouts 3 times. His highest was 13 against Kearns back on April 2nd.
And he's carrying that over here to the postseason.
Yes, he had 10 against Copper Hills and 10 against Lone Peak, like we said. So he's no stranger to... He's no stranger to big moments, as Reiser now goes 1 ball and 1 strike here. 2-3-4 here in the bottom of the 5th for the Sentinels. This one is hit in the air, down the line and left, dropping fast. That's going to be big-time trouble. That's going to bounce up against the Big 12 logo out there and left. And Reiser cruises in with a leadoff double. And that's the first extra base hit of the day for the Mountain Ridge Sentinels.
Now playing for 34, Remington Edwards. Excuse me, playing for 3, Jackson Reiser.
So Reiser now stands in. Pardon my error. That was actually Stockton Folks who had that leadoff double, and so now here comes Jackson Reiser. 1, 2, and 3 to lead off. Top third of the order here for the Sentinels as they look to go for the kill here in the 5th inning. And time called by the home plate umpire, Jake Gordon.
That is just the 3rd hit allowed all afternoon for Hayden Hudman.
And like I said, first extra base hit of the day for Mountain Ridge. As this one is lined to right field. That's a base hit. Folks will get the stop sign as Reiser will turn aggressively at first. And there are runners at the corners now with nobody out on back-to-back hits by the top third of the order for Mountain Ridge. As we now have a lefty moving in the bullpen here for the Fremont Silverwolves. It looks like it's Kobe Nance, who got the 6-out save on Monday. As the runner's going, and the throw back to third. Stockton Folks will not get tagged. It's a stolen base. And there are now runners at second and third with nobody out. As the Mountain Ridge Sentinels offense finally figuring out Hayden Hudman a little bit here in the bottom half of this 5th. Up 2-0 with Remington Edwards at the plate. Back-to-back base hits. Here comes the first pitch to Edwards, and this one is inside and high, ball 1. Here comes the 1-0. That is a beauty of an off-speeder right there for strike 1. One ball, 1 strike. Hudman waits. And the pitch. And 2 balls and a strike now.
Well, he's 0 for 1 so far. He got a walk in the 1st inning and then a fly out, which was the 1-2-3 inning in the 3rd, dealt by Hayden Hudman. I wonder if Remington Edwards can make a little bit of a spark here.
2-1 pitch. This one is tapped foul to the backstop. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 balls and 2 strikes, nobody out. Hayden Hudman looking for a strikeout to get himself out of this jam and to give his team some momentum heading into the 6th. 2-2 pitch. And this one is down in the carpet. And the count goes full here on Remington Edwards. Austin Ellis, who bats cleanup, stands on deck. He of one of the only RBIs in the game on the RBI groundout. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch. Ball 4. And the bases are loaded. And out pops Garrett Clark out of the dugout. And I believe that's going to be it for Hayden Hudman. So Hayden Hudman goes 4+ innings with 4 walks and 3 strikeouts. And here comes Kobe Nance out of the bullpen. Can he do it again? We'll find out when we come back. Well, Kobe Nance went 6 outs and got the save on Monday against Mountain Ridge the first time. Can he come in and do the same thing here for Garrett Clark? This time keep the deficit right where it is for the top half of the 6th inning and his offense. Alexander Timba alongside Ty Wilkinson here at Larry H. Miller Field, joining you from the Kimball press box. And Ty, this is a much different situation that Kobe Nance is facing compared to what he had on Tuesday, or on Monday rather. You have to say it was a rather cushy situation he had on Monday. This is a really big situation he's stepping up into right now. It's
a very difficult one, especially with no outs, bases loaded. Fortunately, you are a left-hander, but unfortunately for you, Mountain Ridge has also been handling, as we saw, Hayden Hudman pretty well, at least during the first couple, at least now into the 5th inning. But this is more of a, I would say, relief situation if you're him, because now you have to, of course, relief Hayden Hudman and, you know, the danger that's now been caused here in the 5th inning.
The Sentinels, number 55, Austin Ellis.
You're right, though. It is a very pressureful situation now.
Hayden Hudman is responsible for all 3 runners. Big spot for Kobe Nance. First pitch. Hit in the air to center. Base hit. That'll score 1. Here comes the 2nd. Runners are rounding 3rd. He will score. 4-0 Mountain Ridge.
Running number 10, Cannon Honeycutt. At the plate, number 1, Luke Nelson.
That'll bring up the first baseman, Luke Nelson. And could that be the kill shot that sends Mountain Ridge to the semifinals? To make it an all-Region 2 matchup between the Sentinels and the Chargers of Corner Canyon. This one does not catch the corner from Kobe Nance.
Well, that's Austin Ellis' 3rd RBI, Alex. You remember earlier in the 1st when he had the bases loaded, that was his 2nd opportunity. Of course, he grounded out into a double play, which ended up scoring the run. But now he gets 2 runs in, and he has 3 RBIs of the 4 runs today for Mountain Ridge.
This one is golf foul behind the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike, the count now. 4 runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Mountain Ridge Sentinels. But the big base knock, a 2-run single by Austin Ellis to make it a 4-0 lead here for Mountain Ridge against this really talented Fremont team. This one's grounded to 3rd, and that gets through the 3rd baseman. That'll score another run. Here comes Edwards. He'll dive in safely, touching home plate. It is 5-0 Sentinels. That'll be an error on the 3rd baseman.
At plate number 11, Ethan Iacono.
And here comes Ethan Iacono as the Mountain Ridge Sentinels continue.
Funny enough, Alex, let's see here. That's Luke Nelson's 2nd base on air in back-to-back innings.
First pitch from Nance, and this one hits the screen, foul.
I mean, I'm sure he'd love to have the hits on his resume, but that's actually kind of impressive that you have the only 2 errors given to Fremont. Whatever gets you on base, though, right?
Whatever works. I mean, you'll take it at this point in the tournament in an elimination game when you're winner-go-home situation. This one is down low, 1 ball and 1 strike. Those first 3 runs, by the way, are charged officially to Hayden Hudman. So Hudman finishes his day giving up 3 runs. On, I think 4 base hits. I'm not sure. I think it's actually 3 runs on 3 runs on 4 base hits. This is grounded foul to the backstop.
Well, if we're going to count Luke Nelson's as a base hit, it would be 4.
Right. If we were going to count Luke Nelson's as base hit, it would be 4, but it's not. So he gives up 3. He gives up actually 2 earned runs on 2 earned runs, 1 unearned, as that one is swung on and missed for strike 3. First K of the day for Kobe Nance, and finally there's 1 gone. 3 runs
At the plate, number 8.
in this inning have scored on 3 base hits, 1 error. And again, those 3 runs have been charged to Hayden Hudman. 2 earned, 1 unearned. First pitch on the way is a changeup high to the shortstop Leo Pachoco.
Well, let's start with the top of the order. Stockton Fultz, he got that double, followed by Jackson Reiser's single, and then Remington Edwards, he loaded the bases. Then Austin Edwards, he got the single to knock in 2. And as we know, Luke Nelson, just previously, he got that RBI on the air.
And Ethan Iacono actually was the one that struck out last. My apologies. This is the 7th man to bat here in the inning for the Sentinels. Trying to add more onto this 5-0 lead. This is down low in the carpet, picked up off the rug for ball 2. Winner of this game will face Corner Canyon later on today in the semifinals. Win that game, there will be an extra game tomorrow. Quick throw back to second and back in safely is the pinch runner, Cannon Honeycutt, over there at second. Replacing, of course, the catcher, Austin Ellis. Nelson at first. 5-0 Mountain Ridge. 2-0 pitch on the way. That one bounces up to the plate. Throw down to third. Gonna get in the left field. That's gonna bring home another run. Honeycutt will score on another fielding error. It is 6-0 Mountain Ridge. Second error of the inning for the Fremont Silverwolves. And the Mountain Ridge Sentinels have busted this thing wide open. Runner on third now, still 1 out. Ball 4. And everything's coming apart now at the seams here for the Fremont Silverwolves.
At plate number 21, Tyler James.
The 8th man of the order now to bat. Here in this inning is Tyler James.
And they've gone in order, Alex, 1 to 8. As I mentioned, start off with Stockton Fultz. And he's been that leading guy in his role.
Strike 1 called here on the second baseman, Tyler James. 8 men have come to the plate. 4 of them have scored on 3 base hits and 2 errors. 3 of those runs, 2 earned, 1 unearned, has been charged to Hayden Hudman as this is off the end of the bat and into center field. That's going to drop. That's going to score another run. Nelson comes in to score. Another run is on the board. It is 7-0 Mountain Ridge.
And it is a line-up party, Alex. Still with just 1 out. And we're getting close to, again, the top of the order.
5 runs have scored now in this inning on 4 base hits, 2 errors. This is the 9th man in the order to bat here in this inning, and it's the DH, Caden Goodsell. First pitch is line foul over the Riverton Silverwolves onto the concourse. Give credit where credit is due, though, Ty. This is a really good pitching staff and a really good Fremont team that Mountain Ridge is doing this to right now. 0-1 pitch. High and away, ball one. Next man to bat is Stockton Folks. He kicked everything off with that stand-up double down the line. He would be the 10th batter to bat here in this inning. Quick throw back to first, and the throw was a good one, but it popped out of the second baseman, Tyson Greaves' glove. So it would not have counted. Again, winner of this game will face off against Corner Canyon in the semifinals later today at 4:30. The loser season is over. 1-1 pitch. That's in the dirt. 2-1.
So now if you're the base runners for Mountain Ridge, you got to play with at least a little bit more content. You got Leo out there at second and then Tyler at first.
How about this bottom of the lineup? Gutsy decisions by Brock Whitney, and they are paying off in spades for his team today offensively. Took a little bit to get going, but they seem to have found their footing. 2-1 pitch. Base hit to left. Stop signs thrown up. And once again, the bags are full of Sentinels.
That's the 5th hit this inning.
And here comes Garrett Clark. Out to the mound.
Running for the Sentinels, number 44, Simon Pachoco.
As we are going to have a pinch runner here for Mountain Ridge. Simeon Bachoco will go out to run. There's been a substitution in center field, and there is a new pitcher coming in. Kobe Nance, unable to survive the onslaught. And now the Fremont Silverwolves are on the ropes here in the bottom of the 5th. Well, Jace Hadley in a tough spot here for the Fremont Silverwolves. Alexander Timov alongside my broadcast partner Ty Wilkinson here from the Kimball Press Box at Larry H. Miller Field. The bases are once again loaded, and Jace Hadley will be surrounded by Sentinels here, no pun intended. And Ty, this is a really, really difficult spot for Jace Hadley, because if all 3 of these runs score, because of the 10-run mercy rule instituted by the UHSAA, this game is over.
It very well will be over, Alex, and the pressure is definitely on, because not only is the game over, your season's over too. So I feel like the incentive is there, but again, the pressure is more than, I would say more than applied, because, well, that winning run, he's at the plate right now.
So Stockton Folks becomes the 10th man to bat here in this inning. The winning run potentially is Simeon Bachoco over at first. That would be the winning run of the game. First pitch on the way is down low, ball one. It'd be a really, really difficult way to see this Fremont team go out and get run ruled by Mountain Ridge in an elimination game after such a brilliant performance they put up in game 1. As this one is inside and high, 2 balls and no strikes.
How about the bottom of the lineup, though, Alex? Batting 4 for 6. You talked about those moves for Mountain Ridge. 4 singles. And, I mean, they're pretty much the reason I would say that the spark has kind of been ignited, especially for Stockton Fowles here at the plate.
2-1 pitch. That one is outside and low. 3 balls and a strike. And now the Silverwolves are in danger of losing Folks and moving that potential game-winning run over to second. And in the process, walking home another run. 3-1. Ball 4. And the winning run now moves into scoring position over at second base.
Keep in mind, this was a close game coming into the bottom of the 5th inning, and now it's close to being over.
It was 2-0 here in the bottom of the 5th. As Josh Dodge zooms in on Simeon Bajoko out there at second base, he is the potential winning run. Remember, there's a 10-run mercy rule here in Utah high school baseball, so if he scores, this game is pow. The pitch. Good off-speeder there, strike one.
Theoretically, Alex, a base hit through the infield would win it for Mountain Ridge.
Here's the pitch, and that's outside and low, 1-1. And you can see how far the Silverwolves are playing in on the corners. They are not letting anything get by them. 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss by Jackson Reiser, strike two. Potential game-winning run on second base because of the mercy rule. Can the Fremont Silverwolves keep their season alive? 1-1 pitch. That is inside, 2 balls and a strike now. Or 2 balls and 2 strikes now on Jackson Reiser. Base hit here wins the game and ends Fremont's season. 2-2. High fly ball in the air to left. Coming over is the left fielder, makes the catch, tagging and scoring on the sacrifice fly is Tyler James. And it is 9-0. 7 runs have scored. And Remington Edwards becomes the 12th Sentinel to bat in this inning.
And the winning run still remains on second.
That's the even scarier part. A base hit through any part of the infield, and this game is pow. And so with it, the Fremont Silverwolves season. Hadley, the pitch. Good pitch there for a strike.
They're leaving a big shift over there, Alex, for the right-handed batter over there in the or the right side of the infield.
Jace Hadley in a tough spot here. 0-1 pitch on the way. That one misses the corner this time on the hands. 1 ball, 1 strike. Austin Ellis is up next. He would be the 13th man to bat, but if it's a base hit, then it doesn't matter. 1-1. That one is outside and low. 7 runs have scored on 5 base hits, 2 errors. 12 men have batted in this inning.
3 walks as well.
And yes, 3 walks issued as well. That one's down low. And now Hadley's in danger of moving the potential game-winning run over to third. The 3-1 pitch coming. Ground ball foul, and the count goes 3-2. Once again, if 1 more run scores in either this inning or the next inning, this game will be over because of the 10-run rule. If this score, though, remains the same after the top of the 6th, that is, if we get there. Will we? No, we won't. This game's over. The Mountain Ridge Sentinels survive, advance, bring on the Corner Canyon Chargers.
And that's all the Sentinels 10. The Mountain Ridge Sentinels will play Corner Canyon today at 4:30. We'd like to congratulate Fremont on a great season and a great playoff run. Wish them well as they
the Mountain Ridge Sentinels.
As you look around your seats, make sure you grab all the things that belong to you.
Score 8 runs, 6 base hits, 2 errors. 12 men come to the plate. And Mountain Ridge sends Fremont home